probably did not do any factoring over the weekend. Okay. So we have 5x squared plus 30x minus a 1 and 30x. So I'm going to kind of remember these tips over here as I go. I'm going to grab my calculator just in case. Sometimes if I don't know factors, I check in here. Hey, let's look at this first tip. It says, always check for a GCF. Hey, is there a GCF in this problem? Yeah. Hopefully it was pretty obvious. You could kind of see it at the beginning. It's 5, right? So please, well, 1. Who really wants to find the factors? Who wants to find the factors of 135? Not me. So you always look for a GCF, because if we divide out 5, then our numbers are going to be smaller, which means less work for us. So, right, we always want to make our life as easy as possible. I can't talk. The less amount of work, the better. So if I divide 5 out, excuse me. I don't know if anyone else has allergies, but I'm struggling today. My throat is so itchy. See, I brought my calculator. I have no clue what 135 divided by 5 is. I was too lazy to do it. It was 27. Okay, that's delightful. So I think we can all agree taking that 5 out just makes our numbers more manageable. They make it smaller, less options, all a good thing. So always, as your first step, check for a GCF and take it out if you can. So now I'm going to go back to what we were doing last week. We're looking at this, and when I say factor, I'm dividing it into 2. So the first thing I do is I make 2 sets of parentheses. That's what dividing is, right? Taking something and putting it in. So then I go to my first term, so I'm just focusing on here. What can I multiply together to get x squared? And that would be x times x. That's nice, not too many options, liking it. And then I say, what can I go to my last term, and what can I multiply together to get 27? 1 times 27, 3 times 9, that's it. All right, so now we have to just see what works. So let me go through my tips. List pairs in order and work backwards. So for x and x, that's my only option. But when I list these in order, when I say work backwards, I'm going to start with 3 and 9. I start with the ones that are closest together, and then you can see they get further apart as they go. So let's try 3 here, 9 here. If you try 9, 3, it doesn't matter as long as you try both. Okay. Now, just as a hint, this is more something you can kind of like do out as you're doing it, but I always like to check my sign. See how this constant, that's just the regular number, is negative? That means I'm going to have opposite signs, so 1 positive, 1 negative. So I think to myself, can I combine these with opposite signs to make positive 6? And the answer is heck yes, I can. Because if I have plus 9x minus 3x, that gives me 6. So once again, the signs in factoring, if the constant is negative, the signs are opposite. So we have 1 positive, 1 negative. So then we just kind of fill in. Remember, this gave me positive 9. This gave me negative 3. So make sure you're putting them in the right spot. Last but not least, if you took out a GCF, do not forget about it. It needs to be in your final answer. So lucky for us, we used all those tips, and we did guess correctly the first time. So we're done. But we want to remind ourselves of last week, because once again, 3 days off can turn your brain to mush here. But we added something. We always are looking for our GCF. Now, if we have one, we won't always have one, and that's okay. But if you do, you take it out. And then we work on those steps we were working on last week, the factors of the first term and the last term. How can I fill them in to get the middle term? And then check your signs, make sure everything works out from there, and that will be your final answer. Once again, sometimes you're not going to guess right. You might have to erase, so pencil might be helpful. So I'll give you a second. Is there any part of that question that people have issues or problems or questions or anything that they would like to ask? Fabulous. Oh, looks like I have a little room next to it. Let's just go right next to it so I don't need to erase. What do we got? We got 15x squared minus 72x minus 108. One, especially when I see like number, like 108, I really don't want to deal with it. So ask yourself first, is there a GCF? And I have no clue, but 15, they're definitely not all divisible by 5, but let's try 3. I know 15 is divisible by 3. Is 72 divisible by 3? Yes, it is. Is 108 divisible by 3? Yes, it is. Exciting stuff. So these are all divisible by 3. So sometimes, this one was a little more obvious, 5. But when you see numbers that are really big, I always just do the GCF check. A lot of times that will be the case, and then it will make your number smaller. So we want to focus on that. So we take out that GCF of 3. I'd be left with 5x squared. What do I got? Minus 24x. So once again, I just kind of threw in my calculator. Minus 36. Okay. So definitely more manageable numbers. So that's why GCF is going to be your friend on these. Now let's go through the steps that we were talking about last week. We're taking this trinomial, the quadratic trinomial, and we're going to divide it or factor it into 2 binomials. So I like to make those first. I find my options. I go to my first term here, and the only option for 5x squared is 5x times x. So we only got one. The less options, the better, right? 36, though, we got a few here. What do we got? 1 and 36. 2 and 18. 3 and 12. 4 and 9. 6 and 6. Oh. Sorry, keep getting. Messages.
Oh,
All right.
and 9 and 4.
4 and I have 4 and 9.
Oh.
I have 4. Same thing. Yeah, so it doesn't matter the order. Yeah, I know sometimes I just keep going too. Okay, so then I start, it lets me organize myself first. Let's think of these steps. Okay. The only option is 5x and x. So that's nice. The less options, the better. But over there we have a big old thing. So once again, I list them in order, and I'm going to work backwards. So I'm going to start with 6 and 6. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, we have a lot of other options, right? So let's see. This, remember, we're focusing on the outer and the inner, and if we can combine those to get the middle. Oh, sorry, I just got really excited. 30x, 6x. Remember, since that's negative, can we combine them using opposite signs to get negative 24? I'm sorry, when you're factoring and you do it right the first time, like you'll know when you do it yourself. There's just like no better feeling in the whole world. Just pure happiness. That's what it feels like, guys. Because there's nothing better than be like, oh man, I don't have to do any extra work. Love it. Now this gave me negative 30. This gave me positive 6. And then I did have a GCF, so I do not forget about it in my final answer. And that would be your final answer. So once again, think about if you just kind of wrote these randomly and then you were just trying random ones, that would have stung. I don't know. It's just like magical that it happens this way, but it happens a lot of the time that if you write them out in order and work backwards, it just saves you time. So if I know something that can save you time, I'll always tell you. All right, so that's 2. We have 2 more to do, and then we're going to try a few. Once again, I knew on a Monday, we were probably, a little rusty from last week, and we had just kind of learned it too. So it never hurts to do extra practice. We'll do 2 more just to kind of get to the groove. Let me know if you have a question in the meantime. What's this one? 6x squared plus 30 minus 30. So I still do this to this day, right? So I factor quite a bit. And I have like a little checklist in my head. So I go through, is there a GCF? And the answer is no, right? So that's not always going to happen. We saw last week, we didn't see any GCF problem. If there's no GCF, you just kind of move on, okay? Right? 6 and 30 have one, but 31's out, so that's prime. So you're good. Just skip that step if it's not there. So we just go into our steps we were doing last week. Make your parentheses, because we're going to divide it up. Find your factors. First term, we have 2 options now. 6x times x or 3x times 2x. 30, what do we got? 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6, okay. I'm gonna be honest, I have no clue what the answer is, so I'm like with you. I'm just going into this like, if it works, great. If it doesn't work, I'll just try something else. So I write them in order, I'm gonna work backwards. So I'm gonna start with 3x and 2x. And I'm gonna start with 5. Oh, see, this is where you save yourself time, okay? So if I was like, oh, I'm gonna start with 5 and 6, I can't. The reason why is because common factors can never go together in the same binomial. That means 6 can't go here, and 6 can't go here. So 5 and 6 is out. Like, I can't do it. If I try 3 and 10, oh, I could do that one, right? Yeah. Let's try 10. I couldn't do 3 here, 10 here, but I can do 10 here, 3 here. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, we'll try something else. This gives me 9x. This gives me 20x. Oh man, no, didn't work. So this is where it's nice to be me because I can just kind of erase like this. For you, you can either do another one or erase. But it's just a lot of testing out what's going to work. Okay, that's out. 2 and 15. I can try 2 here, 15 here. So now I'm just going to start to kind of do things in my head. Well, 3 times 15, that's 45. And 4, that's out. 1 and 30, I can't put 30 either places, so that's out. So we tried all the options with 3 and 2. None of them worked. So sometimes it saves you time, sometimes it's just like, that's the luck of the draw. So let's try 6x and x. Let's try 5 and 6. So 6 can't go here, so let's try 5 here. Oh, I think this is our winner, right? 36x, 5x. I can make 31 out of that because I need opposite signs. If I have 36 minus 5, that gives me 31. So I do a plus, I do a minus. There was no GCF to worry about, and that's my problem. So as I'm going to be honest, I kind of set them up. I start to try to do things in my head, but it's always good to write it out as we're just getting used to things. But I would start the same way I just did with you guys, even though I factor forever. Sometimes you can kind of figure it out, and sometimes you just gotta see what works. And if it doesn't work, you just go to the next thing. Yep.
May I use the bathroom?
Yes, you may. All right, let's try one more. 12 x squared plus 20 x minus 60. All right, so I look at this and I say, where do I start? And my first step is always going to be the same thing. I'm going to check for a GCF, which there is one. These are all even numbers, so they're definitely all divisible by 2. I think that is the greatest common factor that they have. So let's divide that out. 6x squared plus 11x minus 30. Hey, this is weird. We're kind of doing the same work we did in the other one. The other one had 6x squared here. The other one had 30 here. But we have a different middle term. That just means, you got to mix things up a little bit. So this isn't going to be the answer. So we'll kind of, once again, see what works, see what doesn't. If a combo works, great. If it doesn't, we'll try something else. So the nice thing is we have the same, I have the worst hiccups. We have the same pairs. So I'm just going to rewrite them out. All right. Let's see what we got. So I'm just going in the same as you. I have no clue what's going on. So let's start with 3x and 2x. Once again, 5 and 6 isn't going to work because I can't put 6 either place. So it's always nice to kind of not even have to check it. 3 and 10. I can try 3 here, 10 here. I'm just going to do these kind of quick. I think that one works, right? 9x, 20x. Because if I have with opposite signs, if I have positive 20 minus 9, that will give me 11. So we can say it didn't work in the last one, but it works in this one just because we have a different combination to get that different middle number. Just fill your signs in correctly. This gave me negative 9. This gave me positive 20. And please do not forget about that lovely GCF, because that should be in the front of your final answer. And that would be that. So the main goal is just practice till we can't practice anymore, guys. But the more you practice, you can kind of get used to these things and what you're looking for and maybe what won't work. So that will save you some steps. That one about not putting common factors together, that saves you a lot of time. So it's just something to kind of think about. Knowing your signs, whether positive or negative, are helpful. But please, before you start a problem, always check for the GCF, if there is one. But there won't always be one, and that's okay. But if there is one, it makes your life easier. So I'll give you a second to get caught up. Right now, are there any questions so far? In class. If you're at home, let me know. I'll just give you like 2 problems at a time. I hate when I give you like 10. Well, I'm not going to give you 10 anyways, but when I give you a lot at once, I feel like sometimes it's just can be a little overwhelming. So let's start with kind of 2 problems and we'll just see how we do. Give me 1 second once again. I'm setting myself up. Sorry, I just like to make them a little bit different. Oh, that one's too easy. One of these was too easy. I don't want to make it too easy on you guys. Okay, this one should be good. All right, so I'm going to put 2 problems up. I would like you, to the best of your ability, can you just see what you can do? If the answer is I can do nothing, then you have a problem that you need to ask, okay? I'm happy to help you with your problem, but I don't know if you have something wrong until you tell me. So please say, hey, Mr. Sherman, can you give me a little hint, a little, I don't know, little tutorial here. I'm always happy to do that. I am after school today. Some people are making stuff up, but you can always say that I can help if you need it. I'm also after school on Thursday. So feel free to stay. Always ask questions. Do something. I don't know. Don't sit there and be a lug. I know I'm blatantly standing in the way. I will move in a moment. And then I will give you plenty of time to actually try them. Okay. So main goal going into these. First, ask yourself, is there a GCF? If there is, take it out, right? If there's not, you just kind of move on. You make your parentheses, you find your factors, you find a combo that works to get the middle. So the main goal of this is just try. It's one of those things, hopefully it semi-makes sense when I'm doing it, but does it make sense when you are doing it? What more I care about. So I'll give you a few minutes.
There we go. That's it.
another 2 or 3 minutes. So you guys were a little tilted at home. Another 2 or 3 minutes, just I don't want to rush you if you're working. We might just do like 2 problems after that, so just a few at a time, little practice. If you're not getting anything and you need help, I'm putting it on you, it's your brain.
Mr. Sherman,
Yeah, what's
can I
that?
go to the bathroom?
Yes. Absolutely. Come on. One more minute. Just see how you're feeling. All right, looks like most people are kind of done in class. I know it takes usually a minute or 2 extra at home, but I think we should be okay to at least start the first one. And then please, if you see anything that you have a question on, you let me know. So number 1, I do my little checklist in my head. Is there a GCF? And the answer is no. Okay, so next thing, I always do the same thing in the same order. Next thing, what do? I make my parentheses because I'm dividing. All right, next thing, what do? I find my factors. So my first term is either 6x times x or 3x times 2x. So I do have 2 options there. But I look at the constant and say, ooh, that's not that bad because I just have 1 and 3. So I just need to find a combo that works. If what I pick first doesn't work, I'll just try something else. So I'm going to start with 3x and 2x. And once again, if I start with 1 and 3, 3 cannot go here. So I'll try it here. And when I say common factors can't go together, I know everything's divisible by 1, but you can put 1 wherever, right? Oh, what a delight. Is there anything better than guessing right the first time? 9x, 2x. They're going to be opposite signs, and I want to make -7, and I can do that with -9 and +2. And that would be my final. So can you please do a quick check of that? Does anyone have a question on number 1? Fabulous. It's one of those things like if you get it, you're like, yeah, I get it. If you don't get it, you need to ask because you'll just sit there and be like, we're just keep doing the same thing and I don't understand it. So I'm happy to help you. You just need to ask. And then I look at number 2 and I go through my checklist. Is there a GCF? And the answer is yes. These are all divisible by a 3. And now I'll be left with 5x squared plus, excuse me, that is not a plus, Mrs. Sherman. Just making things up. Minus 4x minus 9. Okay. GCFs are helpful. 1, they always make the numbers lower, which makes it less options, which makes it less torturous, hopefully. So then I start, okay, make my parentheses, find my factors. Over here is just 5x and 1x, or 5x times x. And over here, it's either 1 and 9 or 3 and 3. So we'll just kind of see what works. I'll start with 3 and 3. I like to start and kind of work backwards. Oh, that's not going to work, right? Because that will give me 15 and 3. I can't make -4 out of that. It's okay. So 3 and 3 is out. Let's try 1 and 9. So if I just kind of plug it in, 1 here, 9 here is not going to work because that's going to give me 45 and 1. But I can flip them and try the 9 here and the 1 here. So remember, even if something doesn't work, you can always kind of flip-flop and see if that works. And that looks like it's going to be delightful. That's 5x and 9x. Using opposite signs, I can make -4 if I have -9 plus 5. So that should be a plus, that should be a minus. And I do not forget about that little GCF up there. And that, my friends, should be your final answer. So once again, when I have a white, like a dry erase board, it's way easier to just like, so sometimes I even like, do it with, like, imaginarily put it in, be like, okay, if I put a 5 here, I get this. So sometimes you can save yourself a little bit of writing. But always feel free, once again, that pencil, that's where your pencil comes in handy, for those. So you guys tried those 2 on your own. Are there any questions at the current moment? Let's just do one more. That's gonna give you 2. Oh, nice today, guys. Let's just do one more. No, I can't give you 2 easy ones, so let me give you this one. All right, so here's your last one of the dice. Here you go, our little wrap-up problem. 60x squared, oh, this is gonna be nice, plus 378x. Oh, I can't even see it. I think it's plus 108. Let me just check. Yeah. Now, don't get intimidated because the numbers are huge. Usually that's like a little hint. I wouldn't ever actually expect you to find all the factors of those. That's a hint that there's a GCF. Okay? So find the GCF, take it out. That should make it way more manageable. Yeah, you might want a calculator for that one because I have no clue what the GCF between those terms are. So I kind of just focus on the lowest number, 60. Okay, what are the factors of 60? Are they divisible by, we definitely know 2's, but is it divisible by 6's or 10? Well, definitely not 10's either, but you can kind of try it from there. So I'll give you, I don't know, 2 or 3 more minutes. We'll go over and then we'll be done. What a day. Time flies when you're having fun, guys. As always. I'm hungry today.
Are you ready to do this, folks? Yes?
All right, let's say just another minute or two, just go on have time to actually go over it.
Well, you know what, folks? It looks like a game product, but 15 games, that's a total of 18. So 15 divided by 18, and you can reduce that. When you reduce that, that ends up being 5 points.
All right, I'm gonna start to grab my calculator and do my now. I do know that GCF is 6, right? So they're all divisible by 6. I know they're divisible by 2 and 3 as well, but you want the greatest common factor. So that gives me 10x squared. I have no clue. 378. Oh my gosh, my calculator is messy. 378 divided by 6. Okay, plus 63x plus 18. Okay, so that's definitely better. I mean, it's not perfect, but it is what it is. 10x, oh, excuse me, I like my parentheses. 10x is either 10x and 1x or 5x and 2x. 18, ugh. 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Okay, so I'm going to start with 5 and 2. I can't put 6 here. I'll try 6 here, 3 here. So that's 15, 12. That's not going to give me that. Okay, I'm just going to use my finger. I can't flip those either because of the GCF. 2 and 9, I can't put 2 here, so let's try 2 here, 9 here. That's 45 and 4. That's not going to give me 63. That's out. And once again, I can't flip them because of that GCF rule or having a common factor. 1 and 18. That's 36 and 5. Okay, so 5 and 2 is out. Nothing worked. I tried it. It is what it is. All right, let's try 3 and 6. Once again, 6 can't go here because that would have a common factor too. So let's try 3, 6. Ooh, 60x, 3x. I can use the same sign to add them together. And then I give that. Please do not forget about your GCF in your final answer. And that, my friend, took a little work to get there. But that would be your final factor problem. Woo! Fun stuff, guys, as always. So, some tips and tricks. We'll use them all tomorrow. It'll be a